Many of these grandparents, many of them are grandparents raising the grandchild and are the primary caretaker, because the daughter or son is not in the picture, is in jail, or the kid was put in foster care and was given to the grandparent. So now you have an elderly senior citizen or two, if they're a couple, with a grandchild. And now ACS comes in to provide oversight, and they assigned a caseworker for that child. And as you said, for the older individuals, and if they end up in housing court, sometimes protective services is assigned, and if they end up in the shelter system or somewhere else or in the hospital, sometimes protective services or other type of case management and social workers are assigned. So,
and what are we paying for the places they're staying, let's say an apartment for a large homeless family? What is that costing the city a month? Wow. What is that costing the city a month?
Some of these numbers were hard to quantify. We went with the numbers that we could quantify.
We need to quantify more of it, obviously.
Yes, and many of these are hard to track because a lot of seniors end up doubling up with a family or tripling up with a friend, and then after a couple of months when they're told they have to leave, then they go to another family or another friend and stay with them for a while until finally they end up in the shelter system somewhere along the line, unless during those time periods as they're home hopping, they're fortunate enough to find housing, or if they were on a waiting list, something might have come in. So those individuals that get doubled and tripled up, we're losing, and we can't quantify those.
Well, I'm wondering, actually, I was thinking that sometimes people are completely wrongly put out of their homes so that a landlord can get more money. But there are other times when, let's say someone has a hospital bill that they have to pay, and the credit card rate jumps up when they pay that bill, and all it's a house of cards all acting together, and you're losing your home. But if you could get just a little assistance, you could stay in your home instead of being displaced and all the many costs involved in that. Perhaps we could compensate. Perhaps that's where our money's best spent. I don't know. For, let's say, what would be a legal eviction versus an illegal one.
When I was a tenant organizer, when I was a legal services attorney, I can't tell you the amount of cases that ended up in housing court where individuals, had they been alone, would have signed to move because of the pressure that's put on them, and they don't know that they have rights. In some cases, they don't have rights. And even in those kind of cases where you live in a building where there's no rent protection, I've been able to negotiate with the attorney for the other side because it is a senior citizen.
Yes.
And we're able to negotiate maybe some modest increase in rent and a long-term lease. And then sometimes during that time, what happens is their application for public housing, for senior citizen housing comes in, and at least they're not out in the street and they're not among the homeless or the hidden homeless.
See, I always thought that we did have the right to counsel. I always thought we had it.
Only for criminal cases.
Right, but that is because I remember thinking when I'm hearing many stories, I talk to a lot of people and I hear what it is they have to say and I see their circumstances. And what's really taken me by storm is it seems so undemocratic in so many circumstances that this is the beginning. You say this is the beginning, it is the beginning. And I'm so happy that you've written this. So you say that you have the potential, you have the backing, you have everyone's on board. And why is it sitting still? Why is this not moving? What does the public need to do?
They need to contact the mayor's office and
contact the mayor's office
that this legislation is crucial. They need to contact the speaker's office here in the city council and tell them that.
Who is the speaker of the council?
Christine Quinn.
Oh, she's okay. I didn't know that was her official title. Of course it is, Speaker Quinn.
So
So
to let both sides.
Now, does she sign on to a bill, or does she just preside over all things?
She presides over all things. She will
She
usually signs on to things that she introduces.
I see. Has she signed on to this?
I believe not.
I see. So we definitely have to call the speaker, if for no other reason, to get her to sign on.
When there are bills that are controversial, and this is controversial because
of its price, controversial.
Because of its price tag.
Well, the price tag is nominal, it's minimal, it's ridiculous when you think about it, that this much isn't being spent to prevent that much.
That is correct.
Right. Well, you know, I really love Rosie Mendez. I met her once. We had a wonderful conversation. I thought, this is a woman who's gone into public service for the exactly correct reason. And I kissed her hand last time. I'm going to refrain. I'm going to shake her hand. Oh, you did it. Thank you so much. And so we have to call now, everyone, please call your council person, see if they have supported right to counsel. And do you know the number of that? Or is that necessary?
Yes, I don't recall.
Okay, we are going to put it up. Go to importantbills.com, importantbills.com. You can read the legislation for yourself. This is something that is such a no-brainer that I thought it already existed, and it does not. I've learned by talking to many women who are homeless. I feel that many women, in fact, are targeted, not just elderly, but middle to elderly women. So anyway, of course, kids always are on the short end of all of this. We all know that. So anyway, thank you, Councilwoman Rosie Mendez. Are you running for a third term?
I'm running for a second term. I've only been in office for 1 term.
I'm so glad, because Rosie was very strong in saying that people should have had the opportunity. I held a town hall meeting about that in my own community. And it was 3-1 that people, even people who liked Bloomberg, they felt this is not democratic. You're overriding how we feel. And you were vocal about that, and that took strength. That took strength. So Rosie Mendez, a strong, gutsy, righteous woman, thank goodness for her.
Intro 684.
Intro 684. Support.
Right to counsel for senior citizens.
Right to counsel for senior citizens. It's a start.